Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're having a fabulous week. And so today I thought I would do something a little different, share with you some of my tips I use to organize my house, my space, things like that. I get asked questions a lot of the time from friends and things like that on how I organize, what do I do to stay organized. So I thought I'd share a few of my tips, maybe my 5 tips that I use on a regular basis to organize my home. Now everybody organizes differently. Everybody has a different way of thinking in their head on how to organize a space. So what works for me may not always work for you, and that's okay. It's how you need your space to work. So I hope you take these tips and you can ignore them, or you can develop them, take them and use them and make it work for your space. Whether you're a stay-at-home mom or a work outside of the home mom, which I am. I was lucky enough to be a stay-at-home mom when my children were little, and then when they were in their early teens I went back to work, so I became a working outside of the home mom. But that meant I had to develop different ways of doing things. So I hope this helps you, and I hope you enjoy these tips. Now, I would like to know from you guys in the comments below, what tips do you use to help you stay organized? Is there something that you do that really works for you? It's great to learn from other people. I'm always researching Pinterest. I mean, I love Pinterest. I'm always looking on there to find something different that might work for me. I might try it and it just doesn't work. So I go back to my old way, or I look for a new way of doing things. But I'd love to know if you guys have any tips to stay organized. Okay, so tip number 1. The first thing I do is I plan what spaces I'm going to need to organize. January 1st rolls around awfully quickly each year, and it seems the years get quicker and quicker. But it seems to be the time whenever it's a fresh new year and you want to just get on and tackle all those great New Year's resolutions and goals. And that's a time when I sit down and I assess the house and I think, okay, what do we really need to work on? And I'll plan out, maybe in the spring, we'll go outside, we'll tackle the shed out the back. You have to plan, because there's probably certain times of the year that it's better to do that project when you can open a window, maybe if you have to paint or you're cleaning it out and you just want to open a window. Here in Canada we get awfully cold winters, so I can't do that so much, but I like to plan out maybe not even a year. I might plan out the first 3 months, and at the end of that 3 months I'll plan out the next ones, but I try to plan what needs to be organized. My tip number 2 is assess the space before you get going on an organizing project. So what I like to do is I take a look at the whole space and I see what I need. I try to think of what I might need. I'll take measurements. I'll even take pictures. I cannot tell you how many times I have gone to a store and looked at all the great fun organizational things they have, and I'll think, oh my gosh, that'll work great in this space, and I get it home and I'm taken aback because it doesn't fit. Case in point is my utensil drawer down in my kitchen. Oh my gosh, I don't know what it is with that drawer, what they were thinking when they built the house, because the house isn't that old, but it is such a tight drawer that when you go in the stores now, those utensil holders, there's some beautiful ones, they don't fit. They're just way too big. And this drawer is really tight. It's quite small. It's not a regular size. So I've had to come up with my own way of holding my utensils, and it works for me now. So that was one space I had to keep measuring, but then I had to keep reassessing the space to make it work, even taking pictures. Even in my fridge, I will take a picture so I can remember how many It sounds silly. You would think you're in your fridge all the time. You should know how many shelves you have, but it's easy enough to forget. So I would say assess means measuring, taking pictures if you need to, and jotting everything down, whether it's on a piece of paper, a notebook in your purse, or on your phone. Just make sure it's all written down before you go searching for that perfect piece to help you organize. My third tip kind of goes with number 1 and number 2, and that's research. Pinterest. Pinterest is a great resource to get ideas if you're stuck, and I get stuck a lot. It's a great resource to see other ideas of organizing and maybe thinking outside the box. There's such great things on Pinterest people have done to organize, and I'll think, wow, how did they ever come up with that? But that could work in that space. And so I would say research. Take a look around Pinterest. Take a look on YouTube. There's some phenomenal organizers on YouTube, and it just gets your creative juices flowing and makes you think maybe of a different way to organize, and it really, really does help. Tip number 4. This is a big one for me. Ask for help. Don't be afraid to get your family involved. Ask them for help. You know, there's things in the house that I can't lift, and I want to organize a space so badly. My laundry room is another one, and my husband keeps, yeah, we'll get to it. But ask for help. There's things I can't move. I can't lift, so he needs to help me. Even if you do set aside a day once a month or something, but make sure it's on a calendar, or make sure they're aware that you want to work on Saturday, on this Saturday of this month, on this project. Because I don't know about you, but if I pop things on them at the last minute, it never goes well. So my advice is to ask for help, but make sure they know about it well in advance, so you're not popping it on them at the last minute. So my 5th tip goes along with number 4 in seeking help, or not being afraid to ask for help, is know your audience. So what do I mean by that? Well, the way I think I need to organize a space is not always going to work for somebody else in my family. Everybody's brain works differently. So what I think, oh my gosh, is a great idea to organize that space, their brains may not think like that. Case in point is my husband and his office. And I'll leave a link above. We recently redid a piece in his office and kind of reorganized it and cleaned it up. But I needed him to be involved, because the way I think it needs to be organized is not the way he wants it organized. He has a system for his paperwork and all that stuff that doesn't make sense to me. To me, it still looks like clutter, but it is his office. It's his way of doing things. So I need to know that what I would do for my paperwork is not the way he would do it. Same when the kids were little and I would try to organize their bedrooms. I can remember they'd be off at school and I think, yay, I can get into their bedrooms and I can organize, and they'll be so happy when they come home to see a clean bedroom all organized, only to be inundated with for the next week, Mom, where's this? Mom, where's that? Where did you put this? Where did you put that? Because they weren't involved, and they didn't know where I'd put anything, and they couldn't follow my system. As they got older, they developed their own system. It may not work for me, or I may not have agreed with it, but it worked for them. So my 5th tip is really know your audience. It goes with number 4, get them involved, and it'll make life so much easier for you. Now, one more little tip is don't stress. Don't stress over organizing a space, especially if it's not working the way you want it. That's okay. It's a trial and error. You want to organize it and see if it's going to work, and if it doesn't, you just try something else. It's your space, It's the way you want it to be, and if it's not the way somebody else would want it, don't worry about it. It's just organizing a space. So I hope you enjoyed this video of my tips on organizing. Everybody's different. Just remember, everybody's different. The way one person does it may not always work for you, and vice versa. What you do is not going to work for somebody else, but that's okay. That's how we learn. So I would love to know in the comments below if you have special tips that help you stay organized or start an organizational project. I love to hear about things like that. I love organizing. I love trying new systems. I love to hear how other people do things. I'm constantly on Pinterest looking things up. So I would love to know what you use to organize and how you tackle a project. So I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you did, you'll give it a thumbs up. And if you're new here, thank you for spending your time. I hope you'll think about subscribing by hitting that red button below. I'd love to have you join me each week as I share different videos on things related to the home. And until next time, guys, I hope you have a fabulous week. Bye, you guys.